Team like NIP, if they go for that strategy, the tried and tested run and gun. Well, we're going to start it out here in round number 1, finally getting underway. NIP will be on the defensive side of Fnatic's map choice of Ascent.
Already. Like, you can see they've pushed B main straight off the bat, they've pushed A main straight off the bat, and they've knifed down mid to just try and catch anybody over towards tiles. So this team is desperate for information, but they're not doing it in, I guess, the most standard way with sort of taking one piece of map control. They're trying to take it all.
Yeah, I sort of get this, though. I think early round, especially with that KO intel, they were hoping they could spot a couple of players, which would prompt an immediate reaction on the other extremity of the map where they would go swinging through. But Fnatic, well, they're sort of waiting for that. They were holding the default, watching for any aggression, but there's 55 seconds left, and eventually you've got to make a move on the attack. So they're going to move in towards the B site, but the rotates are through. NIP have got Shanji already ready behind the spawn, but he's going to be naded out. Now the players in Boathouse are isolated. Shanji able to find one through the smoke, and the kills are going to NIP for a little bit. They have absolutely no idea that Kawanzin was there until the turret saw him, and he's gone. This is starting to go Fnatic's way.
Yeah, and the remaining 2 players don't really have the positioning to try and break back through. It's awkward for Bosa, though. He gets stuck in the mud, leaving it down into a 2v2 after plant. Both players to the back of site, and there's actually still a paranoia here for the defenders as they look to try and get back in. Oh,
that could be such a huge problem. At least if they're holding the doorway, they can maybe force those close range angles, but NIP used the paranoia just to get through onto the site to break through those choke points, and now they'll look to duel. A shock dart out, Magnum's down, and that is a quick double for Bezany, leaving it into NIP's hands for the pistol round.
Good performance, you're screwed. And that's genuinely the case. The weird thing as well about this roster, which I think we were sort of talking about in the green room, is the fact that Kawanzin is the young 16-year-old, and he's playing Sova. Times before, it's not those like land jitters or anything like that.
Nasty little strap from Fnatic trying to come in with the wall bangs out of the Sheriff to start things off. You know, it's interesting you say that, though, about NIP having those older players on the duelist. I just imagine Angel sat here watching it from afar and just smiling, thinking,
you think there's a problem with that?
Like, what are you trying to say, Tom, huh? All these, look, realistically for Fnatic, a couple of pistols invested into. They want to try to grab a few kills, but
he didn't break the drone.
NIP should be able to get away with this one pretty easily. Avoid losing too many players. And I like they're giving up a decent bit of control. You know, Bezany just there, he spotted a few players. He doesn't want to swing in all too actively. They've put a smoke down now as well to retake that control and try to stop Fnatic from really getting in. This is nicely handled so far. A cautious round from NIP, and a much needed one as well. Lost the one player and 40 HP on site. This could get a little scary.
Kawanzin low. Will eventually get isolated. Ferox's found another. This is already a successful round for Fnatic, taking down 3 players and now leaving Mystic in a clutch. Now, I'll tell you, there's not many more players on this squad you want, but Shanji quick enough.
Can in this one.
Oh, wow. An early flash straight off the bat is exactly what we're talking about. The HUD hasn't even had a chance to catch up with everything because half the players are already dead. And while Kawanzin has done incredible work, 2 kills with the Frenzy from there. The flash almost grants another one for Bezany as well, but it is still going to be back into that 3v3 scenario. Now, just as in the last round, Mitch, too much damage here is already somewhat of a loss for Fnatic.
Yeah, it's 2 rifles, right? Fnatic didn't come in here with any sort of Spectres or anything like that. This is their full buy round to already lose 2 players and NIP to have 3 remaining, you know, even footing. This is perfect. Now, the one downside for the NIP side is that they are set up on A. They've got all their utility there from Killjoy. They've got their players mostly playing around that area. And by the looks of it, I mean, Fnatic's spike was outside B. It had been dropped there. They went back and got it, but they haven't yet decided to go towards that B site. And depending on what they choose in the next couple of seconds, and Tom, they're starting to choose to go towards the A site. This could play perfectly into NIP's hands.
Yeah, no rotation yet. I like this from NIP, just almost gambling. Now, the smoke going through into mid could be the fake that they need, but because the drone's gone through elsewhere, already 1 player being spotted. And on the other side, they're going to have to try and clear some of these closer angles. The paranoia leaves them completely blind. The swing comes through, but the trades are so good. Janjin coming up with a couple, and now it's left all onto Ferox, then he can't quite close it.
Full of minutes. We saw them come in with 3 pistols. This was a
How's he get the second?
super light buy.
He's also low. Just both players tagged.
And we're already seeing an investment coming out of NIP into an Odin as well. That's round 4 Odin buy, at least for now. Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay, the HUD was bugged. I saw 3 players on NIP without guns. I was like, are you crazy? You just want to win it without spending any money? But no, just a little glitch, a little bug. It happens. Again, though, all you really have in this round is a few pistols and Magnum investing into a Spectre. No ultimate. Well, actually, they've got the Hunter's Fury, but how are they going to utilize that to actually win a round? I don't know.
But those steps are being heard as well. You got John right up next to the
3
smoke.
players got hit there.
He made the right call. John's backing off immediately. I love it. Doesn't overcommit, doesn't take any silly plays. We've seen teams do it far too often. This time on the back of the flash, Shanji, I don't know how he's gotten away with that much. That flash obviously saving his bacon when it came to Hyber not being able to see him. That's 4-0 flawlessly.
Someone who's been around in the scene in esports at least for a very long time, always playing this duelist, and then he switches over to something else. You're like, this looks really good. Why were you not doing this before? But yeah, I definitely don't think he should have got away with 3 kills, but bloodbath within this B side, because there's already a multitude of players on the other side. I don't think they've spotted the player in the corner either, so it becomes very awkward for Hyber. In fact, he's left all on his lonesome, and now the wallbangs start to come through on the other side. Both players taking a reasonable amount of damage, but it's Kawazine that comes off slightly worse for wear.
That's very good for Kawazine, getting the first tag out already on the drone. He's going to keep them back a little bit longer as he makes his way through and hasn't quite been able to see them outside, but the job is done. They've stopped the B aggression. They've dealt with Hyber already, and very nicely as well. Having that player tucked in the corner, the 2 behind, the spam out of the Odin, it's a lot of pressure and a lot of details to keep track of while you're pushing on in there. Just overwhelmed Fnatic, and they're left back into a situation with a man disadvantage and no real map control.
Yeah.
So they're going to start pushing up mid to take it.
Moster taking a bit of damage, and Bessidy's just absolutely wrecked him through the corner of the wall. And they've still got these aggressive positions. Like, Mystic hasn't actually got any control of this A site. A pop flash is being set up. They've got the information as well, and Kawazine just spamming. There's only 30 seconds, and Fnatic is still just trying to break through this angle, and they've been caught.
Of course, it's Magnum finding that kill as well, with an Odin running in through a smoke on a short. But that's all he'll get. And in fact, that's all that Fnatic will get. Mystic's running for the hills, trying to get towards the attacker spawn so he can save this weapon. You see John on his way down middle, just 10 seconds on the clock. But that's quite a long time when they're hunting you this aggressively. Ambitious play that ends up, I mean, working out, I guess. PNJ is still alive.
Never going to expect someone to actually do that, but the thing I really want to give credit to NIP for at the moment, at least, is the positions where they're gambling, a lot of their personnel have been correct. Like, that early B presence, they almost expected there to be aggression on the other side. And because of that, which we know already for Fnatic is someone that they desperately need, they didn't seem to actually have a backup plan because they didn't have any map control. You
know, we can sit here and talk about Hyber as being an insanely strong duelist. Like I said, shortlist for pretty much every tier 1 team out there, but he's got to be able to put up the numbers. There's a great flash again from Shanji, but he'll be traded out this time. And no one can quite res him back up, but they're not expecting BNJ to be here as well. And he is just getting away with murder. 2 quick kills on the back site and a spray down for 4. 6-0 NIP. They're not even breaking a sweat.
Considering he's got 12 kills and has been pressured the majority of the time, and finally they make it into the site, and you got BNJ there as well just to do exactly the same thing. Like, sure, again, maybe some slightly weaker weaponry for Fnatic, but it's getting to the point where that's no longer an excuse.
Trade out 1-1, but the dude still survives the round thanks to his ult being down and was stopping them from using their utility on the way through the entire time. Now, straight away, Fnatic are going to start out this round with a lockdown, but it looks like it's going to be a big old fake because they're rotating to the B site. In fact, the spike was already waiting outside of B.
Oh my god.
That is ridiculous for John to get 2 there, and now he knows he's caught them trying to run back. I mean, the players on A don't need to move, though, because they've got a comfortable advantage to play with at this point. Don't believe your hood. There's only 3 players left for Fnatic.
Nice shot from Hyber. Oh, he's going to catch the second as well. Janji down, and, well, now they've at least got a little bit of hope back into this round. John's going to take the wide swing, and Hyber, well, he's just decimating at the moment. B&J might be about to make the same mistake, but I guess they don't expect another player to push through that angle. B&J will be able to clear at least this closer angle, but they've got to get rid of Hyber, who's looking to almost go for the ace at this point, but will fall back.
There's the reveal. They know both players are coming from the market of 4K for Hyper secured, and there's the ace. Well, we wanted this guy to turn up. We needed him to show something big.
For anybody who doesn't know too much about Hyber, currently on Koi, a player who's been playing in the under divisions of the VCT and EMEA, someone we've seen for a long time in different mixed teams, and someone with the nickname the Hibernator.
And you know what? I've heard so many horror stories about organizations, so let me just say,